Hey, Spiritual Girls in a Material World with Kelly Sullivan Walden and Nancy T starts now.
Welcome to Spiritual Girls in a Material World, or Material Girls in a Spiritual World, depending on the day, where we celebrate the bling. I got my bling on. The bling, the ka-ching, and the metaphysical in all things.
Everything.
Oh, I love it. That was the Little Mermaid voice that I love so much.
Yes.
You know I'm going to make you sing that song for the show.
I'm too shy.
Look at this song. Da-da-da-dee, da-da-da. Oh,
You do make me sing. I don't know how you do it, but you made me sing that in front of more people than I care to admit.
Part of their world.
I always dream of a day where I'll sing something and you'll do the interpretive dance, because I think right there, that's our magic.
Okay, ready? Do it. Do it. Do
I'm
it.
not doing it. I'm not doing it.
See, I get you to sing because I sing so poorly. You're like, oh. No, let me fix that. So
No, it's more like I can't dance, but you could interpret any music. It could be like something in the elevator and you could make it something major. I mean, what I saw you do the other day with that one song, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
People need to see that.
We'll have to do that. Oh my God. You just got me thinking about it. Now my mind went completely.
It's fine. That's beautiful.
Wiki. All right.
And your eyes look beautifully blue and crystal.
Oh, Nancy, you say the sweetest things. Thank you.
Tell them what the show's about, Kel.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We're talking. It's related to what we're doing, sort of. We realize, okay, Nancy and I have, as we discover, as we hang out together, every time we do, we find out that we have more and more things in common, which is not totally surprising, but some of the things are just kind of uncanny. So one thing that we have in common is that we both hear beeps. What the beep?
Sorry, I had to close my window because there was too much going on.
Oh, by the way, Nancy's in a car. She's not driving. She's not driving. But that is a little plug for people to see the Driving Miss Nancy video.
Oh my gosh.
Driving Nancy. Okay. Anyway, back on track. We are a little ADD today, but that's okay. So we are obsessed with this woman. We are like kind of, what do they call that? Fangirls. We are fangirls. We are borderline stalkers of Byron Katie, and I think it shows up backwards and sideways. On
it does. It shows up loving what is. See how
it does?
Yes.
Loving what is. Okay, so, and I have a picture in here of, I don't even know who those people are.
It's a message. Let me see.
I don't know them. I think it's like, because this is a used book. It belongs to whoever used to have this book.
Show the picture.
Okay, if you are these people, contact somebody. It's from the 80s, clearly. Contact somebody, not me.
I feel like I know.
Oh, no.
If I lived in
Dana's son. That's Dana's son in high school.
Yeah, just ignore those beeps for 1 second because I'm just so warm. I'm never warm, but
we're going to call this What the Beep. Okay, so Byron Katie, here's the thing. Nancy, why don't you go first and tell us why you love her so much and how you came to love what is through Byron Katie.
Oh my God.
Break it down.
Break it down.
Break it down now.
Look at it started with a friend of mine said, you need to read this book. And it was because I think I was arguing with what is. I think that was, no one ever recommends this book unless you're really struggling with something and really fighting with reality. Then they go, you need this book. And it's just happens that way. I can't imagine anyone recommending it under any other circumstance, but
that's embarrassing. Yes, it's true.
Don't you think? It's how it happened. Yes. So it was recommended to me and I started reading it and I swear I was crying the whole time because I was just like, oh my God. Because she says things like, you know why that thing that you wanted didn't happen, or why that thing isn't supposed to happen? Because it didn't. You know, it's like, oh crap. Love what is. And the only time you suffer is when you think that something shouldn't be a certain way. It's not that your
You
dog
stood
died.
all over yourself.
Yeah, it's not that your dog died. It's that you think that your dog should not have died. It's that you think that your dog should still be alive. And even so, it's every single thing can be whittled down to that thought. And my mind was blown. And it's been blown ever since. And when I think of it, I'm so peaceful. When I go there and I get in that space, that Katie space, and she does refer to herself as Katie, not Byron Katie, but that's her name in the book, you know, is Byron Katie. But
right.
Katie, I love her so much. I think I want to hug her. I've got that total transference you get when you go to a good therapist. I love her. But you had something with her.
Oh my God. I think if we had a song for this episode, it would be I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law won. Isn't it true?
Really? You fought the law?
But
I believe it.
Don't you know that song?
I know I do. Did you fight the law? This is clearly why this song
Probably. Well, on several occasions, but that would be a topic for another show. But why is that door open? I'm pausing. Okay, well, it's the law of, it's not like necessarily the law, although I have fought that law, but, you know, it's like reality always wins. Okay, so I got to meet her once.
I don't think you did, but I'm, you know what? I very rarely have any sort of envy, but in this moment, I have envy because they love Keith.
Okay, so most people, I mean, there's, you know, behind the scenes, not every spiritual teacher is who you would hope they would be. But she is the same front of the stage, back of the stage, underneath the stage, levitating above the stage. She is the same. And I got to introduce her. And one thing I said in my introduction was, you know, somebody's amazing when their name is no longer a noun, but it becomes a verb or an adjective. Like that was so Byron Katie, or I'm going to Byron Katie that. Then you know, like the person is really like done the work.
Yeah.
So anyway, my introduction to Byron Katie, at first, I used to not like her book. I saw this book around and I just thought this title is so simplistic. It totally annoyed me. And I felt like it insulted my spiritual intelligence, my spiritual ego, which you're not supposed to have, but I did. I was like, oh, please. I'm so beyond that. I don't need that book. But I kept...
Really?
Yes. I thought...
You're saying it out loud. Bless your heart.
So I thought, okay, this is my Judgy Wudgy Was a Bear. I thought this book just feels the 1970s. Like it feels like been there, done that.
You thought you were past it.
I did, but it kept showing up. And then there was this one day, and this is like a little dip down a deep rabbit hole, but I'll tell it pretty quick. I'll try. I had a client who came to see me. I was doing hypnosis and practitioner spiritual counseling work. And one day someone came to see me, and it was a guy. And I used to see clients out of my apartment in Santa Monica. I get so nervous just telling the story because it freaks me out. But
oh, come on, you could do it.
I could do it. Okay, so I'm in my apartment by myself, but I always turn off my phones, and I'm by myself. So he comes in, he's sitting there in the session, and we get started, and he tells me, I need to let you know that I'm not here for a session with you.
Whoa.
My blood turned cold. I was like, he said, I saw you from afar at church. And I knew you were somebody that I wanted to get to know, but you would probably already be dating somebody. And the only way I could get to know you was to pretend to need a session from you. And so that would not be that big of a deal. But just 2 days before at our practitioner meeting, one of the women got up and said, there's a guy who is having sessions with practitioners. I have a restraining order against him. He's done X, Y, and Z. He's deranged. He's blah, 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 blah. So be on the lookout. So all of a sudden I'm like,
connection.
Oh my God.
It's that guy.
So for whatever reason, So, I mean, there's one part of me that went, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like, I'm so stupid that I'm having a private session in my apartment. I'm the one that's turned off my phone. I invited him in, like, oh my God, this is how I die. This is how I'm going out. Oh my gosh. So that was one part of me. The other part of me just went into massive spiritual mode. I did the best session I have ever done in my life on him, where I was like, oh, spiritual ninja. Like, you are whole, you are complete, you are magnificent, you don't need anybody, you're, you know, like, and it was awesome. It was beautiful. So by the time he left, I was like in a good place, and he was like, wow, can I have another session with you? You know, and I was like, yeah, we'll talk. Okay. So he walks out the door.
You changed the lock.
As soon as I watch him like click, click, click down the steps in his car, and he goes, I like chain up my door. All of a sudden, the human part of me kicked back in.
You're moving the fridge in front of the door.
And then so long story short, I basically had an anxiety attack. And for probably a month, I went into a depression because I felt like my open heart got me into that situation.
You were too trusting.
My place, like church, which was my church, I felt like I was violated in church, even though nothing physically happened. So I felt like I couldn't go to church, but it just made me like it totally messed with me. So I suddenly was like, okay, then I'm going to be cynical. And then so here I am looking at the world through those, and it was depressing me. So lo and behold, it's Christmas time. Dana and I are in like a Barnes and Noble. I'm walking through the bookstore, kind of heavy-hearted and depressed. And what book falls off the bookshelf?
Bam.
Bam. Bam.
Yes.
And just moments before it fell off, there was a guy walking through the bookstore that looked like that guy. It wasn't him. So I've been ducking and weaving. And when I realized it wasn't him, my heart's palpitating. I open the book, I flip it open, and I start reading. I start doing the work, the 4 questions. And the quick version. First question, I mean, you first make an inventory of the person. And so I said, this guy, his name, I don't know if I'm not going to say his name, is crazy. I'm angry at him because he's like a potential serial killer. He took away my light. He took away my trust. He is basically a psychopathic potential murderer, killer. And he made me cynical. Okay, so then the first question is it true? And I was like, that feels true, so I'm going to go with yeah. And then the second question is
a yes or no question. That's all it is.
That's it. So what's the second question, Nancy?
Can you be certain that it's true? Could you know for sure that it's true?
Can you absolutely know for sure that it's true? So that question, I was like, can I absolutely know for sure that he's a psychopathic killer who robbed me of my light? I can't know that for sure, so we'll put a maybe on that one. We'll get back to that one.
And you're not even allowed to, but she still did it anyway.
Right. The third question is, what's the third question?
The third question is, well, I'm never sure if it is the third question. She always says, who would you be without that story? But that's one of the things.
How do you react when you think the thought?
Right. How do you react when you think the thought?
How do you react when you think the thought? So I was like, okay, I react by completely shutting down, by like everything turns dark. Non-trusting. I feel like lead has moved through my veins. I'm dead. I'm dead, basically. That's how I react when I think the thought. Totally guarded, totally protected. And then she says, who would you be without the thought? And that's the one.
That's it.
Yeah, she said, like if you just took that thought and vanished it, just disappeared it from the universe.
Never says to get rid of it. She doesn't say get rid of that thought. I'm just saying, just imagine for a moment, if you didn't have that thought, who would you be?
Who would you be? So I thought, well, if I'm subtracted my thought, the first thought I had was I'd be dead. I'd be a sitting duck. I'd be a doormat. I'd be stupid. That was the first thing I thought. Because I would just be like, do, dummy, bam, you get whacked.
Oh,
so then But then she asked, there's like a little bonus question. Is there, she says, but if I did subtract that thought, then I also might just be fine. I might just be me without the thought, which is fine. Okay.
She always says, can you think of a stress-free reason to keep a stress-free? Because you go, well, yeah, it keeps me safe. And I'm like, you seem really not stressed.
Is there a stress-free reason to keep the thought? And the only answer, he always says, I'm not telling you to drop the thought. It's not about dropping the thought. It's about the thought dropping you. Okay, so then we do the turnaround, which is where you...
Oh, God, I love the turnaround. That's my favorite because there's usually 3 or 4.
Yeah, so here's my turnaround. Instead of him is the psychopathic killer, Kelly is the psychopathic killer who's robbed my light. And then I thought, he really just showed up and was honest with me. He was just a soul that told me how he felt. He didn't try to kill me. He didn't touch me. Who's the one that's been playing the most hideous things for days and days on end over and over? Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So killing myself, robbing my own light because of my own thoughts. And then I did another turnaround. What's the opposite of psychopathic killer robbing my light? He's an angel that's giving me light.
Could that be true too?
Could that be as true or truer? And I went, oh my God, he showed me where my weak link was so that I could make it strong, so that I could be stronger, more grounded in my light. And I'm just weeping there in Barnes & Noble on the floor. Dude's like, what happened?
And Dana's like, I can't take you anywhere. Every time we go somewhere, some crap happens.
God, waterproof mascara, woman.
Don't we need it?
Literally, I was done. Like the spell broke with that simple little inventory. And I've done it 1,000 times since.
1,000.
And you and I are obsessed with her. So if you don't already know, we highly recommend this book.
Loving What Is. She's writing a new book. And what is the new book? The new title? It's coming out. It's like, it's
always a funny title. It's always a funny title. Like, I Need Your Love. Is that true? But it's great. And I absolutely know that that's true. Anyway, there's been people that I know that have gone through difficult times, and I've shared, not everybody's open to this. Some people don't like it. Some people don't resonate.
No, because they want to hold on to their angst, and it gives them purpose, and it makes them feel justified, and the mind wants to think it's right, and that really, this pokes holes in the mind. It pokes holes in the theory that everything we think and we're afraid of is justified. Because usually she says, you know what I'm doing? I'm sitting in my car. The reality is all this crazy stuff that's going on in my head, I'm sitting in my car. I'm holding my phone. I'm talking to my dear love Kelly. That's what's happening. That's all that's happening.
Or she'll say, all that's ever really happening is that you're either sitting, standing, or lying down. And probably breathing. That's it. And then this is my other favorite Byron Katie quote. We're always in heaven, but only we can eject ourselves out of heaven and put ourselves right in hell just with our thoughts. But we could bring ourselves back. Heaven is our natural state, but it's our thoughts that put us in hell. And then there was this, actually at the end of the book, there's all these little Q&As, and there's somebody that asked the question, like, but how do you know that it's really okay? How do you know, like, that the peaceful answer that you land on is really true? And she said something like, there is no subjective ultimate truth. Like, you can find any philosophy that could contradict anything. She says, but for me, and then she just gets personal. She says, if it gives me peace and freedom, then it's true. So I stick with that. I'm like, that's good. I'll take that.
Yeah, she's so awesome. God, I love her, and I will go see her. That's not even, it's not a bucket list. It's a, I'm doing this thing, and there'll be a lot of those in the bucket. Let's put it
and
that way.
So I think her,
I'm hoping
you will see her and she will love you. And is that true? I don't know.
Oh, it's totally true. I think that's true.
I think
why wouldn't she?
It's like the work. If you Google Byron Katie, the work, I think she's got like the
thework.com.
The work.com.
If you go to thework.com, you can go there, and you can, and she's got videos all on YouTube. And by the end of it, for some reason, you end up laughing hysterically. Is she not hilarious? There's a woman who was talking about her mother and saying, my mom, you know, she's lonely, she should get a dog. And by the end, it was like, you want her to get a dog she doesn't even want. You know, and I mean, it was just, I was laughing hysterically. So I like anything that provides a peaceness but gets me really rolling. If it gets me laughing, I'm like, oh yeah. So I'll be forever a fan of
rolling. All right. So as we sign off, want to sign us off, Nancy T?
I think I will. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching us. We are Spiritual Girls in a Material World. We probably should have mentioned that about 10 more times, but we didn't. That's okay. You felt it. Didn't you feel the spiritual girl in the material world? Well, on Facebook, we have that hashtag, and we do have a Facebook page that is called that. So definitely go there and like us, and you can see all the things we post. We post these shows all the time. And then KellySullivanWalden.com is her website. NancyTelsero.com is my website. And then on Facebook, Kelly Sullivan Walden Doctor, and we spell it out DOCTOR. Dream. It's her page. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. And if by the end of it you want to take a nap, and then you get to have a dream. And then A to Z with Meryl and me. That's mine. It's the letter A, it's the word 2, it's the letter Z with Meryl and me. That's my fan page. So you can be all over us on Facebook and on Twitter. How about that? What's your Twitter handle, Kelly?
It's Kelly S. Walden.
And mine is I am Nancy T.
Oh, wow.
I am. Oh, yeah. Because I think I'm a star or something.
Excuse me. Well, all right.
Well, namaste, people, and namaste.